So here are the windows before. As you can see, the view through them, not so cool. You're gonna wanna go through magazines and find some great shots. These windows are looking into the house, so I found some really cool interiors and glued them onto some folders that I had. Then you're gonna wanna find a valance. I've used leather before and it's great because it's stiff, but for this I felt it was too stiff. So I looked into my fabric stash and found a texture that I really like, and the frayed edge was exactly what I was going for. Do a little test run just to make sure. Yep, that looks great. Next, you're gonna wanna use some glue and glue it onto the same folder. You don't need to use this much glue. I was doing it one-handed, so it was a little glue heavy. You can spread it out. Honestly, this is more fabric than you're gonna need. I always like to have a little wiggle room so you can account for mistakes. And then just glue that down like so. Make sure you're only gluing the edge of the fabric that you're not gonna see. Leave the bottom half open so that you can slide your view under it. Next, you're gonna trim out your photos. I like to leave a lot of wiggle room because you might wanna adjust your view once you get it onto the window. I've learned that the hard way, and sometimes I get too scissor happy and then I screw up the whole view. So don't do what I do and leave yourself some room for adjustments. When it comes to the valance, you want to cut around the edges and leave an extra overhang at the bottom and at the top. The top is where you're going to tape it onto your dollhouse structure, and the bottom is where the view is going to sit, like so. At this point, you can adjust your image. I took off this extra thread on the fabric and pick out the spot on the valance that you like. This one was a little bit wrinkled, which worked out to my advantage to give it a little bit of a softer kind of feel. Once you have that, just glue it down. All you need to do is make sure your glue is open and then glue the top of your view underneath. See how it slides under the fabric? That's all you have to do there. Once you're done with that, it's gonna look kind of like this. Beautiful, I know, but trust me, it's gonna look great. So then next, I waited for the glue to dry and then did a test run and realized my valance was too short. So don't do what I did and do a dry fit before your glue sets. But if you do like I did, it's very easy to fix it. You just rip it off and re-glue it. So here is that step. Just make sure your glue is open again and stick it back on in the position that you want. This time around, the proportions looked much better. You could also mark where you want to have it, but sometimes the mark will show, so I like to just wing it. That looks good, I'm happy with that. On to the next. Affixing it onto the structure is super simple. Just add a piece of blue tape, put it at the top. You can kind of see, test drive how it's gonna fit, make any adjustments, and then simply tape down all the sides. I like to use tape instead of gluing things in. One, because I hate to glue things in, and two, this way you can change it. So if you are decorating for the holidays, you could find a cute little holiday scene and go from there. And then here we have the completed windows. Definitely nicer than seeing the garage through, and you can really tell the story of who lives in this house. This person is pretty cool, they have an eclectic vibe, and of course their furniture matches the outdoor doghouse color scheme. Ta-da!